Have you ever walked away from an argument feeling strangely guilty, even though you were the one who got hurt? Maybe you brought up something specific, and somehow the conversation ended with you apologizing. Or maybe you've started second-guessing your memory, your reactions, even your personality. That kind of confusion is often the point. Some manipulative people don't control through force. They control by shaping your reality. And when people talk about narcissistic mind games, this is usually what they mean. Not random bad behavior, not one selfish moment. Patterns designed to create confusion, emotional dependence, and control. The goal is usually the same: confuse you, hook you emotionally, shift blame, control the narrative, and slowly make you abandon your own needs. A lot of these relationships also follow a cycle. First comes idealization, intense attention, praise, affection. Then devaluation, criticism, withdrawal, contempt. Then sometimes discard. And finally, hoovering, where they pull you back in again. So here are 10 common mind games and how they work in real life. First, gaslighting. Gaslighting is not just lying. It's making you distrust your own reality. You clearly remember what happened, but they say, "I never said that," or "You're imagining things," or "You're too sensitive." Over time, you stop trusting your memory and start relying on them to define reality for you. This works because humans need shared reality to feel stable. If someone constantly destabilizes that, you become easier to control. A big warning sign is chronic confusion. Confusion itself is information. What helps is stopping endless reality debates. Document things when needed. Talk to grounded people you trust. And remember that healthy disagreement still leaves room for your perspective to exist. Second, projection and blame shifting. This is when someone accuses you of the very thing they're doing. A dishonest person constantly accusing you of lying. Someone flirting with other people accusing you of cheating. A common pattern here is called DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. You bring up a problem, they deny it, attack your character, and suddenly they're the victim. Now you're defending yourself instead of discussing their behavior. That's the trap. What helps is calmly returning to the original issue. We can discuss my tone later. Right now, we're discussing what happened. Third, playing the victim. Some people use suffering to avoid accountability. They may cry, talk about how damaged they are, or frame your boundary as cruelty. "After everything I've been through, you're abandoning me too?" The important distinction is repair versus exemption. Repair means accountability and changed behavior. Exemption means emotional performance without change. Empathy does not require removing boundaries. You can care about someone's pain and still say no. Fourth, triangulation. This is when someone brings in a third person to create insecurity or competition, comparing you to an ex, saying, "Everyone agrees with me," flirting to provoke jealousy, turning family members against each other. The goal is to make you compete for approval. Once you start fighting for position, they control the emotional center of the relationship. What helps is refusing the competition entirely. Healthy relationships do not require auditions. Fifth, love bombing. This is intense affection that moves too fast. Constant texting, huge promises, soulmate language early on, pressure for rapid commitment. Intensity can feel like intimacy, but they are not the same thing. The problem is not affection itself. The warning signs are speed, pressure, inconsistency, and later control. Love bombing creates a powerful emotional high, and when the relationship later becomes cold or critical, people often chase the original version of the person. What helps is slowing things down and paying attention to consistency over time. Sixth, invalidation and dismissal. This is when your emotions are constantly minimized. "You're overreacting. That's not a big deal. You shouldn't feel that way." Over time, people stop expressing needs because every feeling becomes an argument. You begin self-editing just to avoid ridicule or dismissal. Your feelings are information, not debates. A healthy person may disagree with your interpretation, but they won't punish you for having emotions. Seventh, withholding.
This can look like the silent treatment, withholding affection, withholding information, or even controlling money. The key feature is withdrawal as punishment. Intermittent warmth is psychologically powerful. If someone alternates affection with coldness, your brain starts chasing relief. That unpredictability can create attachment that feels almost addictive. What helps is not chasing reassurance. Instead of spiraling into over-explaining, focus on your own stability, routines, support systems, and boundaries. Eighth, smear campaigns. This happens when someone damages your reputation behind your back. They tell selective stories, spread rumors, or recruit other people to pressure you. Sometimes this starts right before they fear accountability. People often believe the first confident version of events they hear. That's why smear campaigns can be so destabilizing. What helps is staying calm and factual. Don't panic and overshare.
Document what matters, especially in workplace or custody situations. Consistency over time matters more than dramatic defenses. Ninth, hoovering. This is when someone tries to pull you back in after distance, conflict, or a breakup. Suddenly, there are apologies, gifts, emotional messages, promises to change. The reason this works is because people confuse emotional intensity with transformation. But real change is sustained behavior over time, not emotional urgency in the moment. If someone says they've changed, look for specifics, accountability, and consistency, not just emotion. And 10th, isolation. This is one of the most important tactics because isolation removes outside perspectives. It may start subtly, complaints about your friends, drama every time you see family, discouraging hobbies, work opportunities, or independence. Once someone becomes your main source of validation, reality, and emotional support, control becomes much easier. What helps is rebuilding outside connections quietly and consistently. Isolation thrives in secrecy. Now here's the important part. One tactic alone does not automatically mean someone is a narcissist. Patterns matter. Everybody can be defensive, selfish, or emotionally immature sometimes. The real question is what happens when harm is addressed. Is there accountability, genuine repair, consistent change? Mind games become clearer when you notice recurring patterns, constant confusion, frequent apologizing, punished boundaries, shrinking confidence, strategic kindness that disappears when you stop complying. And if you're dealing with these dynamics, practical protection matters more than winning arguments. Don't jade, justify, argue, defend, and explain endlessly. That often feeds the cycle. Keep responses brief and grounded. Set boundaries tied to actions. Instead of please stop yelling, try if yelling starts, I'm ending the conversation. Boundaries are not requests. They are decisions about what you will do. Documentation can help. Support systems help. Therapy can help. And if there are threats, intimidation, stalking, or financial control, safety planning matters too. The most important thing to remember is this. Healthy relationships do not require you to abandon your reality to keep the peace. They allow disagreement without confusion, boundaries without punishment, and accountability without emotional warfare. Consistency matters more than intensity, and the healthiest relationships usually make you feel more like yourself, not less.